What motivates you more than a big rival?
There needs to be that person that gives you the motivation to train hard.
Someone that you absolutely have to beat.
Without your contenders here, you're nothing.
It's always great when they're like two dominant guys.
Schurter looking over at Absalon.
Battling for the win.
The greatest rivalry mountain biking has ever seen.
It keeps you pushing, it keeps you being at your best.
When it's 2 and 3 big names in the sport, that's perfect for the fans.
If you are watching two people climbing the walls to knock 7 bells out of each other, I'm in.
For Nino, it was always important that he had such a guy that he was not going to a race to beat the others.
Should we light the candles?
He went to the race to beat that person. The first one was Julien Absalon.
Julien Absalon used to have the nickname of Mr. Mountain Bike. Huge, all-conquering talent.
Julia was the mountain biker, as a complete athlete.
Just an animal that used to really hurt people on the climbs.
Absalon takes the steeper inside line. The greatest male cross-country athlete ever to live until Nino came along. Absalon showing Schurter the wheel. Schurter, though, responded.
We had many races. It's going to end up between us two. Over how many years we battled together? Started 2009.
Yeah, more than 10 years.
It's a long time. We actually never had the chance to really ride together. I would say we go the closest first, then we see who is first home. No. Okay, let's go.
Let's go. Back on the cross-country bike. I remember the first time he beat me. For sure, I remember really well.
This one I also remember.
In Canberra, at the World Championships.
It looks already old school for footage.
It was fun to ride, but not steep for me.
I had my plan. I need to overtake you there before, because afterwards it's all trail.
I remember the race. I was maybe too confident. I was leading the race. He was always in my wheel, and I was okay. I will be able to drop him.
This time he was winning everything, and nobody had any recipe against him. I knew if I can stay here, and then I try in the last lap.
And Schurter's trying to attack again.
The whole last lap was actually so intense, and I was happy I was able to stick on your wheel the whole race and then trying my chance in the last lap.
Nino Schurter try and make history against the great Frenchman Julien Absalon.
For the first time, I realized he was more powerful than me at sprints. Gosh.
Nino Schurter is 5-time world champion, first time as an elite.
He found the recipe to beat me. I never won a real sprint against you.
Yeah. The battles with Julien, I knew I need to be on my best to beat him, not just physically, but also mentally.
What made the difference to the rest was always his mental strength. If he's prepared well, he doesn't have to fear anyone.
He was one of the first cross-country rider to put tactical in cross-country.
I need to ride smart if I wanna beat him.
As a more powerful rider, he had then 2 options to beat him: in a sprint or on descents.
At the beginning, it was difficult for me to find an answer because I had to change a lot in my training.
With Julien Absalon, I think it was, what's he doing now? How can I be better than him? That's the level that Nino was operating at.
Having Julien in my mind when I'm training and digging deep. But I remember so many intervals where I just had, okay, I want to beat you. And I suffered seeing him, okay, I now drop him. I actually remember I couldn't make the gap anymore in the downhill, and I clearly could realize you worked on on your downhill. We switched the roles. This rivalry we had in between us, I think, made us both better athletes. The races in Alpstad I actually remember the most as like the battles between us.
Julian Absalon now at the front. What will his tactics be, Bart?
Yeah, pushing it really hard on the climbs.
It was a nice race for me. I started with these two long climbs.
Yeah, this was here. I was like, okay, I need to go flat out.
Schurter now to the front. These two have blown the competition out of the water yet again. It's enough. It's probably enough, you know. I can't see Absalon coming back now. You never know.
Whoa!
Oh, Schurter's down! Absalon goes by him. Can Schurter remount and remake an attack here?
Try too hard to drop you.
You did not so many mistakes in your career, but it was one of your mistakes.
But yeah, the year after, it ended up to be in exactly the same scenario, you know, like...
And Absalon now to the front. Schurter won't like that. There he goes with the red stripe around him. These two are simply in a class of their own. So the last time down this descent.
I couldn't get us first into the downhill.
This year it's Julian Absalon to the front. So here they come round onto the tarmac. It's going to be an all-out drag race. Absalon gets up on the pedals. He sprints. Schurter's behind him. I don't think so. And Nino overtakes Absalon. And as he crosses the line, he punches the air. Schurter all the way! Schurter takes it on the line!
It was such a tight sprint finish. This finish photo of this sprint is still one of my favorite career finish photos.
Definitely summed up these two warriors, you know, how much they wanted to win. Yeah, it was amazing to see.
When you look at it now and the dates and what they were winning, that's where the sport sort of transitioned to the Nino age.
The changes in mountain bike came a bit more in favor for me, so the climbs got over the years shorter and shorter.
More technical.
More artificial also.
Nove Mesto, I would say, was like one of the early, quite modern mountain bike tracks. And there we also had Kulavi.
My biggest rival was Nino.
Here comes Kalhavi. Listen to the crowd. Kalhavi goes by Schurter like he stood still. Nino Schurter, you can see by the body language there, he can't go with him. Look at the fan base here. They've turned out to see their man win and he has not let them down. Years, only Nino, Absalon and Kalhavi won races. Like, it was only them three that ever won.
Yeah, it was pretty nice time. The most iconic moments for me, Olympics 2012 in London.
So that race went for quite some time through my head.
Last lap, after the downhill, he passed me. What I can do?
I had the feeling I did everything right.
Then there was last corner before the finish. It was my last chance.
A lot of people judged me with not being aggressive enough around this last corner, leaving the door open for Jaroslav.
But you know, this is the best moment in my career.
I think it was a good lesson for me. I knew I need to do things even better 4 years later.
He was always looking for the next level because there was only one result that he was looking for, and that's to win the race. And he won the title.
I never rested on the success. I always found another goal.
I was there when he did his 33 victory in Brazil.
Schurter takes the win in Brazil! His 33rd World Cup win! And Nino Schurter equals Julian Absalon's record!
I realized at this moment that you will have, for sure, at least 34. And he did more.
Those moments will keep you motivated for a lot of more, because you want to get in there again and again. Until you can't anymore. I clearly have to thank you to have been there, to be so good. I had to dig so deep to be at your level, and I'm not sure if I would still be there without you. It was a big motivation to just give everything.
Thank you. It's strange because you thanks me because I took you some victories, and I thanks you because you took me some victories.
Sure, I really enjoyed this respectful rivalry we had between us.
Are you now a Nino fan?
Yeah. I'm just in trouble when he's against Victor because I really like Victor, and Jordan for sure as French. It's difficult.
All the time, if you fight for a World Cup win, Nino is there.
Koretsky, right on the wheel of Nino on this climb, this last climb.
I want to beat him when we are together, so that's the goal.
And it's all out now from Nino Schurter. Koretsky, though, chasing him hard here. No one's ever gone as long as Nino at that level. And that level is still there right now as we sit here talking in 2025.
He's not my rivals, I would say, but I would still love to beat him.
The world mountain bike champion up against the world cyclocross champion. This is the battle we've been waiting for.
He's still beating the young guys, so that means he's a good one and he's the GOAT.
And Nino, showtime, going for his 36th win.
It's quite obvious that he's one of the best ever to do this sport.
Got the most records, most world titles, obviously the most World Cup wins.
There's like so many riders can be at the top now. I always like the one that stick on Julia's wheel and hopefully be the more explosive one at the end. And now the young riders are trying the same with me.